Okay, guys, welcome to level 2. Okay, some guys are back again. Some guys are doing it first time. Makes no difference. I always tell the guys, the only person I don't want in the class, and obviously he wouldn't be in the class, but is the guy that doesn't want to continue after he's failed. Okay, that's someone who, okay. The guys always ask me, would I hire a guy that failed? Like as if it's a, I said I had 2 on my staff. So yeah, I do. I do and I will, and I don't think there's any shame at all. I think the only shame is, no, it's not a shame, but I just think it's a if you don't come back when one can fall, okay, then you hop back on the horse, if this is what you want. And I do think I got a call from a guy today, a youngster, who's just about to start his BCom, and he wants to know. You can just see it, everything's changing, just the whole landscape. He has a youngster who's about to start. I was quite impressed with him. And he said to me, he said, he knows what he wants to do. He wants to become an investment banker. He wants to, and he's researched everything. So, and I know the drill now, so I start to tell him a little bit about CFA. I said, for CFA, you've got like topic weights. He said, he knows ethics, everything about, obviously taken that with the website of what's available information and really cleaned it out. And he said to me, the reason he wants to phone me is he wants to know, within his BCom, how can he best prepare to? Because he wants to do a CFA. That's his goal. He wants to know what's the best best way to do it, to achieve that. The topics. So he came up with a bit of a generic BCom with a finance slant, and he took all the 10 topics and he's made sure he's got some of that in his BCom throughout the 3 years to be able to, which is things are changing. The lighties are getting a little bit better prepared. They know what they want. The competition's out there, guys. It's tough. It's tough. Okay, guys, now that you are here, just in terms of the first session, which will be tonight, we won't kill you tonight. We'll go through a basic intro. We'll start some notes as well, but I won't use anywhere near the full time allocation for tonight. This is the first time, so we'll just get ourselves used to it. And basically talk about level 2. Okay, what we can offer you, what we can't offer you, what you can expect from us, okay, what we expect from you. Okay, let us jump in. Okay, guys, in terms of the exam format, same as you saw last year. No change, 9 to 12, 2 to 5. Okay. A little bit of a difference in the MCQs, guys, okay, from what you saw. It is a complete MCQ paper, guys. You're going to find that your CFA experience changes as you go through. Level 1, purely multiple choice questions. Okay, level 2, stories, what the CFA guys, what they call vignettes. Okay, with multiple choice. Okay, and then level 3 is a hybrid between level 2, which is vignettes, and everyone calls it essays. It's not essays, of course. It's called constructed response. That's level 3. So it changes every level, just to keep it fresh, of course. Okay, and what's a vignette, guys? For those guys that haven't seen it before, what's a vignette? A vignette is you get a whole story before, okay, about a page and a half. Story can go as much as 2.5 pages sometimes, okay, followed by, generally, I'll tell you how it changed last year, okay, and how it's going to change going forward. Generally speaking, what it used to be, I'm going to give you the old system and I'll talk about the new system. I used to give you in the morning, okay, you had a morning paper and you had the afternoon paper. Okay, your morning paper had 10 stories. And the good thing about level 2, good or bad, but the thing about level 2, those 10 stories, okay, was on a specific topic. So they didn't go generally and mish the topics in a little bit that you're not really sure whether you're coming or going. You're in economics now, you're in quants now, or you know what I'm saying. So that was 10 separate stories, and after each story, you had 6 multiple choice questions. Total 60 questions in the morning, and carbon copy again in the afternoon. 10 stories, 6 multiple choice questions behind those stories, total of 60, and this is how they mark it, by the way, a total of 120 multiple choice questions. Okay, there we go. Hey? Oh, it's not still here, so it's okay. She'll just have to shout. Okay. You guys come to that. So that's 100. That's 120 multiple choice questions. What they did last year is they changed it just a little bit. Okay. And instead of making only 10 vignettes or 10 stories, they jumped it up to 12 stories. Okay. And if you have a look, if we just have to break that down for you guys quick. How do the 12 stories work? So, typically speaking, you would have 8 stories times 6 multiple choice questions behind those, which gave you your 48. And then they gave you, 3 questions, 3 stories with 4 MCQs behind those, which was 12. Not a massive difference. Not a massive difference, of course, guys. But one more story, what does it add to it? Time. Just when you thought you only had to do 10 stories, now they jumped one extra one into both level 2 and in level 3 as well. And it made it a little bit more challenging. Just, guys, it's not something that we're going to worry about in September, because we're only going to write, how's it? Not necessarily level 2, next door. Level 1 guys are used to having this one, but we've moved them. Okay. So, guys, what this has done is it's just added an added dimension of time. As I said, we're not going to worry about this right now because this is not our issue at hand. Our issue at hand is, number 1, get all the knowledge in, and then learn how to answer the questions at high speed. Not high speed, but at general speed. Okay, so that's your change over there. They have promised us it might mesh around just a little bit even more this year. We'll wait and see. But again, does that change anything? Okay, it doesn't. Okay. The work, it's the same work. Okay. The only thing that it does add a little bit of complexity to is your time. How's it? Okay, and that's just something we've got to keep our eyes on. It's just that the time is our enemy. Okay, so that's your stories. Those are your stories. And guys, remember the challenge of the stories. Okay, if it's a 2-page story, okay, followed by 6 multiple choice questions, and if you just do the easy maths, it's 180 marks. Sorry, 180 minutes. It's 18 minutes a story. Okay, so our challenge is really going to be, okay, guys, that we've got to get through the stories. And the problem is you can't just skim a story, because there's rates of return in there, there's discount rates, there's thinking time as well. Okay, so a big challenge that we got to get through as part of level 2, guys, is our speed, our processing speed, okay, etc., etc. Very doable. You guys are not the first guys to write level 2. Won't be the last. Many guys have got through before, so we'll do it. But I'm always a big believer in giving you the full picture, the honest truth up front. Let's know what we've got to achieve, and then we can work from there. Because once we know that, we're in a good position. I don't know if you phone me the night before the exam for advice, anything like that, I'm going to lie to you. Okay, but I had one girl that phoned me, CFA level 1 student, wasn't even my student, and she asked me, do I think she's going to pass? I said, who are you? So she said, no. She told me her name. I said, you know one of my students? She said, no, she knows. Can she still talk to me? I said, with pleasure. I talk to anybody. I don't mind. She said, she just wants some advice. I said, but it's hours before you're going to write. It's not days, hours. And my wife's listening in the background, and she said to me, she knows the CFA level 1 syllabus, inside, outside, backwards, forwards. Yoch, does she know the syllabus? So I said, then why are you phoning me if you know it so well? She said, no, the only question, she only thinks something's just niggling at her a little bit. She hasn't done any practice papers or any practice questions. So I said, none. She said, no, nothing. But she knows the syllabus. So I said, I just want to tell you something. I want to wish you the best of luck for tomorrow. You just go there and you do the best you can. And my wife in the background is killing herself laughing. And this girl was obviously a clever girl. She said to me, you're not saying anything. I said, I know. But I think you just go in there and do your best, and we'll, that's all one can ever do. It's your best. And my wife said to me, why didn't you say anything to her? I said, because I'm not going to tell her on the night before the paper that she's going to for sure fail, which she was going to. Yeah. And she did, by the way. She phoned me afterwards to let me know. She said, by the way, I failed. I said, oh. She said, you knew that. I said, yeah. Been doing this for a little bit too long not to know that you can't. And that's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to give you techniques. We're going to give you tricks. We're going to give you every little. I know that the youngsters today. I've got a 16-year-old, nearly a 16-year-old teenager at home. They call them hacks. So we can use every trick we can. We've got to use every little bit that we can. It's going to be. It's going to be. And that's why, guys. The fact that you guys are all here early is just it's an amazing thing because you're showing the effort, all the good things to be able to make this thing work, which is what we need. We need to use every trick we can, guys. This is a tough one, but we can do it. Let's go. Okay, so exactly the format we don't know yet. Okay, and of course the guys, part of what we're going to be doing tonight, guys, the guys can't tell me what the format was last year. Why can't you tell me what the format was last year? That's part of your ethics. You're not allowed to discuss the paper. Also, I can't even ask the guys, and I haven't. Okay. I'm a big believer. I don't just teach the ethics section. I believe in the ethics section. I believe that we've got a long way to go in terms of ethics in South Africa and internationally, of course. But I will not move on the ethics side. So please don't tell me what the paper looked like. Okay. But all that we do know is that the paper, what they told us, that the paper was going to be approximately 11 questions. Gone from the 10 to 11 again. It's just a timing thing. How does level 1 change from level 2? You cannot use the same. A lot of guys say, you can use the same exam technique and processes that you used in level 1 to get to level 2. You probably might be okay. Okay. It's going to catch up with you in level 3 though. Okay, so just be careful with that. We're going to show you how to study. A big difference in level 1 level 2, guys, is the processes. Okay. How's it? When do you level 2? Hey? Next door. Won't be long. Okay. So it's proper questions, it's vignettes, it's stories, it's processes. You've got to really get into each question, of course, in a very quick way. Each one is a quick one. But level 1 was just facts, wasn't it? You had 120 questions. You had to answer them very quickly. And if you knew it, it was 90 seconds a question. Okay. And the Kai guys are complaining. They said, well, why do they have to answer questions in 72 seconds and the CFA guys get 90 seconds? I said, talk to the. I have no idea. Okay. The real answer was I think the CFA questions are a little bit more detailed. That's why they get 90 seconds. But we didn't want to tell them that. Okay. Each designation's got its own strengths. Okay. So it's a much more process thing. You actually, it's the nice thing about level 2, guys, as opposed to level 1, is you can actually get into your teeth a little bit into each little question, which is, you start to you get to see the whole question, you become a part of that question. It's quick, it's 18 minutes, and then you can really, the whole thing, it's all part of one big story that you've got to answer. A little bit of a different approach, but guys, let me tell you something. Okay, my FRM class is moaning because they said they've only been here for a month and a half and they've got an exam already next week. And the same thing's going to go for us, guys. It's just going to be practice, questions, tutorials, questions. We've got to just keep on practicing and working. Level 3 class we started on Monday night, and a couple of weeks they're going to start writing essays for me already. That's what's going to get us through. Please, guys, avoid what do they call it in finance? The value trap. Okay, avoid that, guys. Okay, don't think we've got 9 months. We do have 9 months. But if you start now, okay, and the sections that we do now in early start, which I'll show you what they are, that it's extensive, and you get that under your belt almost completely, okay, by December, January, Feb, March, it's going to be a different experience for you. A lot of guys are only starting in January, but you've got a big part of the syllabus under your belts already. And the next 5 months of Jan to end of May, early June, it's just revision for you on those topics because you've seen them before. Seeing something a second or the third time is a different ball game to seeing it the first time. So guys, please don't treat this as a... the good thing about the early start is it's much more relaxed learning because we don't have that pressure. The clock isn't ticking necessarily. The clock only starts to tick in January somehow. Nobody worries. No one worries until Jan. Okay. But let's use this as a... okay. Guys, let's have a quick peek at the topics. Not much change in your topics, guys. Very similar to what we've seen before. Ethics, blah, blah, blah. 10 to 15. What do you think ethics will be in level 3? 10 to 15. Okay, no change. Okay. What changes in ethics from level 1 to 2 to 3? Nothing. Okay. Same ethics, carbon copy. Same story. Code of ethics, standards of professional conduct. What's that? All in vignette format. Everything's in vignette format. So what we're going to do, and I'll describe what our job is for tonight and tomorrow and next week, Thursday, is, I mean, ethics in level 3, so in level 2, I'm going to take you through the changes for those guys that are perhaps writing a second time, what they've changed. They've even taken stuff out of ethics from what it was. They try to add in a little bit of funky stuff every year. Like, for example, you'll get into level 3, and they add in things like the AMC, the Asset Manager Code. Okay, that's 4 pages. Okay, not going to hurt anyone. With what? The code and the standards. No change. No change at all. We'll have a look at that, but again, it's worth 10 to 15. And again, because we are a preferred provider to the CAI Association, they always tell me, please advertise it to the guys. So I always do. Not for you yet, of course, you'll get there. But once you pass level 3, you can jump straight into level 2 of Kaya. And the funny thing about Kaya, the reason that I'm mentioning it, guys, is Kaya has got a very strong link to CFA. And you know what they use for their ethics? Same thing. So if you decide to do 3 levels of CFA and 2 levels of Kaya, you can see the same ethics 5 times. And what changes? Absolutely nothing. Carbon copy. Well, I lie. What changes for Kaya is they drop the last 2, don't they? Standard 7 of professional conduct. Why? Because standard 7 is what? Specific exam techniques, exam practices for CFA, as well as use of the CFA designation and logo. So that obviously doesn't apply to Kaya. I'm surprised Kaya hasn't written their own standard 7, but hey, they've just carbon copied CFA. There's a lovely link between the 2 bodies. So, okay. Quants 5 to 10. Okay. And generally speaking, every time you see a 5 here, guys, generally 5 is 1 question. Generally speaking. Okay. And so what does 5 to 10 mean? 1 question or 2 questions? Which one are you going to get? No idea. Okay. We wait and see. Okay. Quite a few changes on the quant side, guys. Okay. There's a big, as I'm sure you know, and I'm sure you've seen it on LinkedIn and all the other good things like that. There's a big move to big data, artificial intelligence, all that kind of stuff, and that's now been thrown into the quant section. Okay, so that's to the extent that Kaya has even offered, they've got a brand new charter now. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called FDP. If anyone's interested in, we're not offering it just yet, or I don't know if at all, but it's a specific charter, like a CFA charter, on big data, Python, financial math, statistics, that kind of stuff. If that's up your alley, then it's a lovely one to do. But it's its own charter, by the way, called FDP. But it's very specific to big data, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, ecos, carbon copy, same 5 to 10, nothing big there. FRA, financial reporting and analysis, 10 to 15. More likely, generally, guys, on the FRA section, because it's a big section, because they added something new last year, banks and insurers, they added in last year, okay, likely to be on the upper end. My 2 cents worth would be, that would be your 15% of your 3-question one. Corporate finance is small. They've dropped quite a bit out of CorpFin. Okay. And then you've got your guys' stock standards. You've got your asset classes. Equity 10 to 15, probably going to be 15. Alts 5 to 10. They made some changes there. Fixed income 10 to 15. By the way, what's interesting, guys, fixed income is they have it's the only allocation, I think if memory serves, the only allocation that they've in fact increased for level 3. They've taken fixed income almost up to 20% of level 3. Okay, so it's a big allocator. So that's one we're going to really focus and put a lot of time and effort into that one. Derivatives, guys, if you wrote this paper before and you hated derivatives, well, you'll hate it less now, but you'll hate it more again in level 3. So what they've done is they've taken the big one out of level 2, strategy, Okay, things like butterfly spreads, iron condors, all that kind of stuff, and they've moved all that strategy from level 2 up to level 3, which is in fact its rightful place. So derivatives in level 2 has become quite simple. Not quite simple, but it's really just the basic forward, futures, options and swaps. There's not a whole lot in there anymore. And that used to upset a lot of people in level 2, but it's gone. But it'll be back. Okay. And then Portman, a few changes. We're going to show you that now. Okay. Guys, we have a quick peek over there, guys. The total curriculum, if you decide to do the actual curriculum, which you can, of course, okay, 3,123 pages. That's the actual CFA notes. Okay, that's a big one, but obviously each to their own. End of reading questions is 1,183 questions. I'm changing the format just a little bit. I'll describe to you how we do it over here. We run 2 sets of questions, guys. In fact, we run 3. Come close to exam. When we give you a test or an exam, we give you as it would be as a vignette, exactly as you would see in your final paper. That's when we give you exams. At the end of every reading, we've got what we call edge checkers, just checker questions. We throw a couple hundred in at you for some of the readings. We really try and give you a great exposure. But again, just remember, guys, that those are not as you're going to see it in the exam. They're just multiple choice questions. They're like almost like level 1 type multiple choice questions at the end of every one of your readings, just to make sure that when you finish the topic that you can go over and answer all of those. If you can answer all the checkers, then yes, you've understood the reading very well. Okay. There are those, and also another focus that I want to spend a bit of time on, which in conversation with the CFA guys in America, they say it is very valuable. In fact, because the reason why is that they offered me to purchase the end of reading questions from them. So I said, what does that mean? And purchasing the means that I can use them in my classes, print them, use them as we like, which of course we've got to pay, and in dollars, but they said it's very worthwhile the purchase, which I agree with. So we will be doing quite a few more of end of reading questions as well in the class as tutorials, guys. We're going to do as many. The more questions you've done, the more you've seen, the more the more valuable it's going to be for you. So that's our 3-pronged attack, guys. We'll do checkers, which are multiple choice questions. We'll do exam type questions at the right times, and we're going to spend quite a bit of time then doing CFA questions as well, because I've paid already, and they're good. Okay, good. Okay, so those are their questions, guys, and obviously if we can do their questions, it gives us a good sense of, okay, one of my FRM students failed FRM Part 1, and then phoned me and told me that, by the way, the practice papers that I gave them were nothing like the final exam. I said, I'm sorry to hear that. All the other students said it was, but anyway, her view that it wasn't. So I said, but the problem that I've got, I said, the FRM Society is governed by a company called GARP, G-A-R-P, the Global Association of Risk Professionals. Okay, I said on their website, on their FRM website, just like CFA, they give you practice papers. Now, if they try and trick you and don't give you the right practice papers, then what can I do? I can't tell you what's going to be in their paper. Just like CFA, I never get to see the paper either. So all I can say is, guys, when we do the CFA type questions and the CFA practice papers, I'm having a bit of a, I have to believe that it does prepare you well enough. It does give you a sense of what, and they're not out there to trick you. And my big belief in the CFA is your exam hard? Yes. Is it challenging? Yes. Is it going to take your time? Yes, 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 yes. But is it fair? And the answer, I think, is yes as well. Okay. And they're not trying to trick you. They're just trying to see, have you put the work? You put the work in a meaningful, whatever kind of way, you're likely to get through. So we're going to spend a lot of time on their stuff as well. We're going to put a bit of a focus on that. Learning outcome statements, guys, 456 of those, 48 readings, 17 study sessions, very carbon copy-ish from last year. Yeah. Yep. Well, I'll show you what they've done with cryptos. We'll show you when I get to the syllabus. They've been a little bit funny with cryptos. On the Kaya side, they've thrown that in. The FRM side, they've thrown it in. So everybody on some level, all the designations are scrambling to try and get some kind of, we do cryptos too, or we do AR, big data, all that kind of stuff. The DLTs, all that. Do they all do it in as much detail? Okay. What's that? It's the start. Correct. And I think, guys, my sense is, okay, obviously nothing for you guys now because you're busy with the grab a orange file. Because you guys are busy with CFA, of course, but at some point, I think it's very valuable to jump into this kind of stuff. You know, when they phoned me from Kaya, because we're a preferred provider to them, so they phoned me from Geneva, and I was just talking to the lady there, and she said something about this new designation called FDP. She said, and they do things like S, and I said, what is that? And Python, I said, it sounds like a snake. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, that's how, you know, I'm old school. I got my CFA before the century turned over. Okay, so I've been doing this for a while. You know, it's time we all skilled up. But I think this is really the way, you know, things are going. I was just talking with a mate of mine. I was doing Excel, and I kind of like believe that I'm quite good at Excel. Like to have thought. And he said, well, why don't you just I said, he's an expert. He actually trains Excel. So I found him. I said, what's a quick shortcut to get this done? He said, why don't you just pop a thing through on Visual Basic? I said, why don't you just, I said, "Good, I don't know what you're talking about." Okay, good, I don't know how on earth to use Visual Basic, but we got to get there, guys. And I think everyone says, but I'm not a programmer. But I think it helps in all different aspects. I think really do. I think it's something that's very valuable. But again, as I say, not for tonight and not for a while. Let's kill one at a time. I'm also a big believer, kill one thing at a time. You'll do it better like that. Guys, talking about our lecturers, guys, we've got a great team out there for you guys. Generally speaking, okay, we mix it up a little bit. We try and give you experts in their fields. Okay, so we'll be doing quite a bit of that. You'll see different guys coming here. I obviously head up the program, so if you've got any issues, anything that you need, you'll contact me directly with pleasure. We look at the 4 C's as part of our approach, guys. What do you think the 4 C's are? Okay. Here they are. Consistency. We'll talk about that one in a second. Commitment, but the fact that you're all here in September, some of the guys say to me, oh, I'll start in Jan. I can't do this now. You'll find the class mushrooms in Jan, but it's not too late. It's better early. Talk about concentration, guys. I'll talk about that one in a second. And calm. Okay. Guys, in terms of the consistency, how often do you have to work? Every single day. Every single day. How long? 45 minutes, an hour. Particularly if you're starting now, I wouldn't put in that much more than that. But it's an everyday exercise. Every single day you're doing some CFA. You're in the program. You're alive. It's part of you. Because remember, guys, if you're not consistent, if you're not working every single day, time will pass, and all of a sudden we've done 3 sections, and you don't know where those have gone. You happy with that? Things move very quickly around here. Okay. I had one girl who unfortunately never made level 3 2 years back. And the next year she said to me, she said, well, should she come back to class? And I said, completely up to you. Everybody's got their own views. But the problem is that sometimes the class at least adds a bit of consistency to things. Every week we're doing a topic, a reading. You got to catch up. You got to keep up with where we are. And she didn't. And then she phoned me 3 months later. She said, but I'm behind like 5 sections already. I said, okay. So the trick is, guys, in terms of the consistency, keep up as best you can. Okay. Commitment, you guys are here. Okay, so that's got to count. It's a massive, massive one. Okay, we know that one. When I talk about concentration, guys, I had one student that did level 1, and he said to me, he only started, he started in January to write the June paper, and he said, can he send me his timetable? I said, with pleasure. And his timetable was finish work at 6, and then work, I think it was from 7 to midnight, 5 hours, and then get up at 4:30. He was dinkum. He had advertised on his timetable a 6-7 hour per day, and he phoned me. He was all excited to say. I read it, and he said, "You don't sound excited." I said, "I'm not." He said, "Why not?" I said, "You're not going to. It's not only you're not going to make June. You're not going to make February. Okay, it's not sustainable, guys. It's not sustainable. Okay, when we talk about the concentration, guys, I'm a big believer Okay, rather put in a brilliant half an hour than a horrible 4 hours. You don't have to sit on the chair, guys. Okay, if you come home from work and it's 8 o'clock and your boss has really killed you that day, okay, or if you are the boss and you've killed yourself, okay, or you're just tired, sometimes we know we're normal, we're human, okay, put in 5 minutes. And what does the 5 minutes help? The 5 minutes helps keeps you in the program, keeps you busy, keeps you studying, okay. But please don't tell me that you were so exhausted, but then you just sat there for 3 hours and because you know what'll go in. Nothing will go in. Go to sleep, guys. If you're tired, go to sleep. Run, exercise, gym, shop, movies, whatever you guys like. Get the brain working again. Take a day or two, not off, because you'll do a few minutes every day. And if you're just thinking, well, what can I do for today? That idiot lecturer of mine said I got to do something every day. Read one standard, guys. Keep in it, because then you're in the program, aren't you? Okay, that's your concentration, guys, and calm. Just breathe. It's going to get big. This program gets big on you. This program gets stressful. This program gets okay. So keep calm. Okay, and if it's really hurting you, take a day off. You need to go, guys. Please, I know it's a 9-month program, but it's not really a 9-month program. It's a 8-and-a-bit-month program because you're going to take some time off in December, recharge. Doesn't make any sense, guys, to try and push as hard as you can for a full 9 months. Okay, we're just humans. We're normal. You've got to take it as easy as you can. When the body's talking, listen to the body. Okay, and keep calm. Okay, one of the students asked, should they take the little white pills? I wasn't sure what they were referring to, but if you do need the little white pills to keep you calm, whatever they are, take them. There's no judgment, of course, guys. If a lot of the guys, if you think that you're going to start, that when you take things like Ritalin, Stratera, all of those kind of drugs, and that you think you're the first people in the world that's ever taken them as a student, guys, they say about 40 to 50% of American college students are on these types of drugs. Ritalin, Strateras, Concertas, these are the drugs that keep you focused for longer. All the merchant bankers are on them because they're working late nights. Guys, you're not unique. I'm not advertising here. I'm not here to advertise drugs by any means. But guys, whatever you need, okay, and if you're obviously, please, I had one student that put herself onto Ritalin. Please don't do that, guys. Okay. She saw Ritalin in one of the other students' pencil cases. She was one of the chartered accountant students. So that other student had in their pencil case. So she decided to start to take it, developed headaches, okay, and other strange symptoms. Couldn't quite work out why. Okay, guys, if you do feel that you can't concentrate or go to your doctor, do it in a normal way. And as I say, of course, there's no judgment. Everybody takes and does as they need, but please just do it in a responsible manner. That's all I can ask. We don't want people falling asleep on. We had one student that couldn't sleep because he's so stressed. I'm going back many years before the exam, so he took one sleeping pill too many, okay, with a glass of wine, yeah, on that Friday night, and he woke up Saturday afternoon. Okay, he had a lovely sleep. Felt good when he woke up, other than that dreadful feeling that you missed exam 1 already. Okay. And of course, guys, if you miss exam 1, don't go for exam 2, because it's just frustrating. Wow. Okay. Good. And generally, guys, we found that the guys, the guys added another C, and the girls added another C. What do you think the guys want is? Cars? No. The guys say just cry. Okay. And the girls say just eat chocolate. That's their C. Okay, whichever works, guys. But we got the 4 C's, whatever you want. The cars, it's also good. And guys, the trick is, don't lose yourself in this process. Okay, have you seen that lovely meme of a guy coming out of a cave after the CFA paper, almost like a skeleton? Is there life out here? Okay, guys, it's not about that. It's about normal, and the trick is, if you've got this consistent approach, guys, you'll come out of the CFA program smiling, happy with a pass. Okay, not damaged, not, because, we had one of my CFA level 2 guys, when he was doing level 2, his girlfriend at the time said to him, she doesn't feel that he's giving her enough attention. So he came back with a plan, and he offered her 1 night per week. And she said that's not good enough for her. So then he went back to the drawing board, and he came back with an ultimatum, and he said it's 1 night a week or it's nothing. And she chose nothing. So, okay. It's not what we want, guys, by the way. Okay, normal, healthy. And I always tell the guys, and the girls. Okay, because CFA is a difficult one, it's a long one, it's a hard one. I always suggest that you go back to your families, those that are married, those that are not married, those that have got people that depend on them, mothers, fathers, cousins, uncles, aunts, cats, dogs, whatever you got at home, girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives, kids, makes no difference. Okay, but let them know, okay, that you're doing this process. It's a difficult process. You're begging, you're asking for their support. You don't want it to be every single time on a Saturday morning when you've got to go into your office and spend 4 hours working that there's, oh, are you working again now? Yeah, I'm working. Ask for the support, explain it to them. I had one student whose wife, first his mother phoned me to find out, he failed 1 year, not with us, and then he joined us, and his mother phoned me. Is he going to pass? I said, I have no idea. She said, you do know that I'm paying for him? I said, that's very kind of you. I said, but let me explain something to you as the mother. I don't think I think she got more than what she expected. I don't like mothers. I like students. Okay. Because the mother's not doing the studying, neither is the father. They may be paying, they may be supporting, and that's commendable. Okay. But I said to the mother, I said, my strong advice to you, okay, I know your son. He's a good student. He's a good guy. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Let him work. I said, because if you sit on his head and you remind him every week that you're paying, you're going to stress this poor kid out unbelievably. For what? We know you've paid, and we commend you for that. And the fact that you're putting it, and she was a single mother, so really, I mean, I commend that. I'm not, but it's got to be at the benefit of the person, And if you're fighting family and you're trying to study and fight family, and it's like my little daughter, my 6-year-old, always says to me, she knows the nights that I lecture, I'm quite consistent, and she'll come to me at like 4 o'clock and say, "Are you going to work tonight, Dad?" And I'll say, "Sarah, I'm going." Oh, it doesn't make it. I said, "But remember, I've just spent 2 hours with you. I took you to OT, and we went for ice cream afterwards, and Dad spends a lot of time during the day with you." Ah, but night times, so it doesn't make it any easier sometimes. So guys, just as I said, anyway, so the end of the story with this guy, so I spoke to the mother. I said, leave him alone, let him study, don't get on his case. Didn't take more than an hour. His wife phoned me. Now I'm dealing with the wife and the mother, and the wife said, "I'm just disappointed in him for failing last year." So I said, yeah, well, not a great attitude, but I can't tell you how to behave. I said, it's much better if you support him than criticize him. She said to me, "But he's always working, and he failed. How can this be?" I said, it's a very, very tough paper. I said, it needs lots of hours. And she said to me, yeah, but when I was at varsity, I passed first time. So I said, that's very nice. I said, and then I just couldn't resist, because I should have shut up then, but I just couldn't stop. I said, what did you study? She said, she's got a BA. I said, oh, that's nice. I said, a BA in what? BA in dancing. I said, and you passed that first time? She said, yeah. I said, well done. Okay, guys, a BA in dancing, and I'm not criticizing it, and I don't know what is even involved, because I couldn't stand on my tippy toes if it was the last thing I do. Everyone's got their skills, am I right? But just explain to your families, guys, this is, and remember, if you get the buy-in, it's going to make it so much easier. It just takes all that stress off you tell your family, listen, I need to work 8 hours on the weekend. It is what it is. I can take off the whole of Saturday, be with the family, and work Sundays. I can work 4 hours on each Saturday, Sunday, and spend afternoons with the families. Let's work it out together, what works best, and just try and get some kind of a consensus, because it's going to make your life so much easier. And if you don't have anyone that's depending on you, and you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have a boyfriend, you don't have a whatever, guys, then get this designation done quickly before you do. Okay, because it makes it easier without commitments. But each to their own. Okay, guys. You're right, 6th of June, so it does seem a little bit crazy to be starting early, but I'm unrepentant. I think it's the best thing ever to start early, and we're going to kill it. Okay. Calculator policy, by the time you guys now in level 2, you know the calculator policy. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Okay. Reading comprehension is very important, guys, and we're going to spend time on that. Okay, because remember, unlike level 1, level 2, there's big stories. We've got to get those stories right. If we get the stories right and we're able to process the stories at high-ish speed, with comprehension, it's going to make our lives so much easier. Okay. There's two different approaches, guys. A lot of guys say, well, if I've got a 1 or 2 page story followed by 6 questions, wouldn't it be better if I read the questions first to know a little bit about where they're heading, and then move into reading the story? I like either approach. I don't specifically advocate anyone. The only thing that I do ask of you guys is that by the time you go into the exam, you've got your approach firmly under your belt. This is what works for you. This is what you. Don't go into the exam and say, question 1, I think I'm going to do it this way, and then in the whole exam you're busy trying to work out a good approach. That must all be done beforehand. Whatever works for you, and I'll show you both approaches as we go, and we'll work through those. No questions are repeated, but that we know. Shut. There's nothing. I'll tell you. The truth is, you always ask yourself the question, what's the best way to do? Because, like, I'll tell you, Kai is the only designation that's computerized now. So if you write Kaya, you actually write upstairs on the 6th floor, Pearson, and you write on computers. Okay. Now, and they give you a notepad, a scribble pad as well, but it's ones that you can rub out. It's about 10 pages, and you can rub them out. It's like a hardcover, plasticky thing, and like a bit of a pen that writes on that type of surface. So a lot of my students ask, when they're preparing for Kai, should they prepare on the computer and try and do the questions only on the computer and that with this kind of thing? And I said, you'll adjust quickly on exam day, or on the other side, if you believe that, you want to be as real, your preparations, as your exam will be, well, then do that. But I don't believe that you should never highlight again just because you can't use a highlighter in the paper. Do you know what I'm saying? If you need a highlighter to go through the notes, say, well, this was important, that was important, that's your study stuff. Okay. Perhaps then maybe when you do questions, don't highlight or something to do, whatever works for you. Okay. But yes, Werner is right. You can't bring highlighters in. You want to hear something? You want to hear something funny? Okay. Because it's an exam that I'm a little bit more familiar with in terms of its timing, is when you go write the Kaya paper upstairs. So first of all, the people are completely unpleasant, which I think that they especially hire unpleasant people to be exam proctors. I think it's part of the fun for I don't know what. Walk in, hello, how's everybody? Okay, guess no one's doing okay. Anyway, and then when they do the check, when you hear what they do for the check, you've got to take off your glasses and put them on a flat. So, okay, I'm not fighting with anybody. I do that. Then I said to the guy, I said, seriously, what are you doing with the glasses? He said, no, some people put cameras on the glasses. Okay. Then they say, lift my shirt. I say, this is not happening. But of course I do it because I don't want to get into any trouble. And he says, can I just move the buckle? So I said, if I have to. They're looking for cameras on the buckle. Then the little thing here, you've got to stick your finger into your jeans pocket, the little one. I said, what do you think is in there? Okay, but all the designations, obviously with the advent of greater and greater technology, they're checking for everything. We had 2 students, by the way, a level 1 student and a level 3 student. They were both disqualified last year. Okay. Because, and this poor level 3 guy, okay, of course he believed he passed, okay, but it is what it is. He'll never get to find out. And that Saturday morning he woke up, put his watch on, and he found that his watch was dead. Okay, it had stopped overnight. Grabbed his wife's watch, which was a 400-year-old smartwatch. It was probably the first. He's a bit of an older guy. Probably the first smartwatch that was ever invented. It was a Garmin. And what could it do? Absolutely nothing. And to the extent that it couldn't even take your pulse. You had to wear those, those things that across your chest to be able to. It could do nothing. But it's a digital watch. And I went through the process with him. We appealed to the CFA. We went through the appeals committee. We did everything we could, and they were not even interested. Their final thing was an offer, okay, which I told them please to accept because I think it was, and the offer was to void his exam results for level 3, number 1, and to get a private censure. That means they shouted you in private. As opposed to being kicked out the program, public censure, or anything like that. And I said, just take it. They offered him an appeals process or this shortcut. I said, just take the shortcut because rather get back into a positive state of mind, study for level 3, get the level 3 behind you, as opposed to dealing with this, which will take another couple of months. But they're serious about discipline. They're serious about if they and guys, we'll see it when we look at a little bit of ethics still tonight. When they say no, they mean no. Okay, if they say no highlighters, and and this particular guy, he said to me, he said, but what did he do wrong? And I said to him, I said, you didn't do anything wrong. But he said, then let's fight it. I said, no, let's not fight it. And the reason I say don't fight it is because they got their rules. If you break the rules, you've broken the rules. That's what you've done wrong. Is it a bad thing that you've done by taking in a 500-year-old smartwatch? No, they can't do anything. If they had to send it for lab testing, would they find anything? No. But what? You broke the rules. And I said it's very difficult to appeal that when you've broken the rules. The rule says don't do it, and if you have done it, well, then you've done it. And then you... Correct. You spoke or you didn't, something like that, yeah. But again, please, in that exam, don't smile, don't be friendly to anybody, don't turn around because your mate is right behind you and wink. So, doing okay? Just get in there, right? You'll have your beer, your drink, your chat, whatever, after the paper. Please don't do anything. Okay. Okay. And guys, just a quick thing, what I just do want to spend a little bit of time on over here, guys, is just, this is particularly more for the guys that are doing a rewrite. Okay. And after this, guys, I'm not going to spend a lot more time tonight. We're going to let you guys go a little bit early. I just do want to just jump into ethics. So at least we've done a little bit of ethics tonight. So we can say we've done a little bit of work. Next week, Chris, all we got to do is finish up ethics. There's no change from this year to last year. So I won't overly kill us. If we have a look over here, guys, let's see what we've got. Look at the changes. Changes, okay. There is this new thing, and it was there last year as well, by the way. Look over there. Application and application. What's the difference? The first two are the same. The code and the standards, carbon copy. No change. No change to level 2. No change from level 1. Exactly the same. But what? This new thing is the applications change. And all it means when the applications change is last year they gave you 5 case studies. This year, 5 case studies. But this year the 5, they dropped 3 old ones and put 3 new ones in. That's it. So the truth be told, guys, I am going to go through them with you next week. The applications, the case studies. Okay. But even if you didn't go through the case studies ever, it's no real loss, because as long as, remember the guys, it's just really applications to what? The code and standards. So if you learn that well, you've got it anyway. We're going to do it anyway because I want you guys to see the case studies and how to apply it. But again, there's nothing new there. Nothing is, okay. Look what they've done. Okay, a little bit of a bonus for the guys. Okay, trade allocation, gone. Changing investment objectives, gone. So those 2, if you were doing them last year, those are, don't look where those are. Those have been dropped. Not sure why, but they've been dropped. Okay, so a little bit of a bonus over there. Okay. Last year, both in level 1 and level 2, they added in a new reading called FinTech and Investment Management. A bit of a shocker, to be honest. I was wildly amused last year. LinkedIn and all these platforms were all excited that CFA has adopted and is advocating and is standing behind Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. No, they're not. They added in one small reading called FinTech and Investment Management, which didn't even make a whole lot of sense. Not a great reading. Okay, they threw it into level 1 and level 2, exactly the carbon copy reading for both levels, just to be able to almost say that there's a bit of crypto, there's a bit of infotech put into CFA. And CFA is changing. It's gone. That reading is gone, and no one is crying at its demise. It wasn't a great one. Okay. I'm glad the CFA, I'm hoping they never get my recordings. I'm not scared of anybody. Okay. Maybe a little bit of the CFA. They are quite tough. Okay. And then the guys, the two, okay, which are the exact carbon copy of last year, correlation and regression. And guys, remember there's correlation and, which is simple regression and multiple regression. We look at both of those guys. Those are both changed just a little bit. The light orange means there's been a few changes to it, nothing material. So essentially, if you did those last year, you've got those covered. A few little changes, nothing to write home about. Time series, same as it was last year. Okay, but look what they've done now. They've been a bit more purposeful in their computer integration. Look what they've put in. They've put in machine learning and big data projects, two specific readings that fit under the quant section, which is nice. They're nice readings. They fit in nicely. There we go. So those are brand new. Those you haven't seen before. Then number 10 now becomes number 9, which is exactly what we saw last year. Exert from, and it's a strange topic, exert from probabilistic approaches, scenarios, analysis, decision trees, and simulations. Carbon copy from last year. No change. Ecos, currency is the same. Economics of regulation, guys, a little bit of a few little changes over there. Nothing big. Okay. FLA, carbon copy. Big, but the same. A tiny drop of changes in intercorporate, a little bit on IFRS 9. Interesting stuff coming through there, but nothing huge. Again, almost carbon copy-ish of what we've seen thus far. CorpFin. Okay, CorpFin, you've got 2 dropped readings. Okay, I'm not sure why they're dropping governance and all that kind of stuff, but they are. That's all gone. So corporate governance, performance, and business ethics is gone. Corporate governance is gone. Okay, and they've thrown it all into one biggish type section. Okay, yes, they've put ESG in there as well, which has become a very popular investment factor. Merger and acquisitions, carbon copy, no change. Equity, which is your big section, guys, and fixed income, which is another big, your 3 big ones, taking ethics out of it, guys, are always going to be FRA, equities, and fixed income. And the good news is those 3 are all almost carbon copy of what they were in the past. When I say it's nice, not that we don't like changes, but we've got a lot of past questions. We know how they like to examine it. We've got a bit of a certainty on those. Okay. Derivatives gets even easier because they've thrown out strategy. Strategy's been dropped on the derivative side, and that's been thrown into level 3. Okay. So don't be overly thankful because it's not gone, which I'd be very upset if it were gone because it's very important. But it's much more level 3-ish in terms of level 3 is much more strategy in terms of your 4 major asset classes. Okay. The portfolio management process and the RPS is dropped from Portman, which is about blooming time. I'm not sure why it was ever there in the first place, because it was a silly little reading talking about the RPS, talking about little stuff like that, which is the whole of level 3. So I'm not sure why they decided why it had to be in level 2 at all, because it's almost the whole of level 3 in terms of that process. That's gone, and obviously that's big stuff for level 3. Okay. They've got another new nice one here for Portman, guys. ETFs, exchange traded funds. I'm sure our president had something to do with that. The president of the CFA. So I don't know if you guys know Narina Visser, the head of the CFA Society South Africa. She's big on the ETF side. Okay, I'm sure she had something to do with this one. Okay, there we go. Exchange traded funds is a lovely one to put in because it's very topical. It's very much about how you can gain exposure to certain asset factors with the use of specific ETFs. Lovely stuff. Nothing wrong with that one. Rest are the same. Okay, they've dropped algos. Okay, trading and high frequency. That one's gone. But they've replaced it a little bit with trading costs in the electronic markets. Okay, guys, you can see if we had to see the big change over here is really computer stuff, AI, big data, electronic trading costs, ETFs, all that kind of good stuff. There's been a big focus now in level 2, and they've got to do it, guys. They've got to do it because it's becoming very, very topical. Okay. Any questions before as I say, guys, I'm not going to spend a lot of time tonight. I just want to do one or two